7,
9. Blast off.
Yo. As we're doing the intro, I'm finding
we're doing everything actively in the moment. This is what
2004.
self-preparedness,
Right.
2004.
Cool.
So what's up? I'm Gray.
Welcome to the Shuttle podcast, and I'm Starsky.
And today we're talking about Primer,
The movie.
the 2004 movie about time travel, written by actual time travelers.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think
people
they're
who have
actually from the 1870s.
And they learned how to time travel, and they were like, we're going to write a movie about it.
Time travel.
It's crazy. And we're going to be in the movie. They were in the movie too. They acted in it. They wrote it.
Yeah.
And
so the movie was, people consider it like one of the more accurate movies,
like
about
sci-fi
time
movies,
travel.
period. Yeah.
And it's written and directed, I believe, and is
Starred in
he
this-
the main guy in it
yeah.
too? So
His name's like
Special
David
guy.
something, I forget.
let me look it up.
But I think he's a physicist.
Yeah,
And
David Sullivan.
David Sullivan. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
He was actually a physicist, and like whatever, studied quantum physics or quantum theory or something like that.
Yes.
Theoretical physics, things like time travel, whatnot. Had like a pretty vast trove of like knowledge about it, and decided, why don't I write a sci-fi movie, which are generally derided for having like really like goofy, like fake Hollywood science dialogue, like the transistor,
Sure.
Modulator.
Just describe something that nobody can understand, and then it works.
But in this movie, it's really it's all actual real science. And it plays out through the setup, but also through the plot of it, and the way that, again, there's all these converging timelines and stuff.
Sure.
If you YouTube it, there's like 100 videos of dudes just trying with the graphs to like break it down. And I remember watching it with you for the first time, and it's like, the first thing it's one of those movies that like at the same time is making you feel like you feel smart watching it because it's so much stuff like craziness going on. You're like, but you also feel fucking dumb as hell. Because I remember we were like, the first 10 minutes, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's not as simple as like most movies portray time travel like they do in like Doctor Who. Like he just gets in this thing and just lands in this other time in our linear idea, concept of what time
like the timeline. Yeah, the timeline.
But that act of jumping back or forth has consequences on whatever timeline you're in, because that's another thing that this movie is portrays very well, is like you don't actually go back to this linear time.
You create
a new branch, and that is, I believe, from like all the weird science research that's been done and is going on right now about time travel. Like that's most likely how time possible works. Yeah.
It's what you generally get is like one of my favorite little bits of that is when you see, if you like Looper, the Rian Johnson movie.
Yeah.
There's a scene where
Bruce Willis and young Bruce Willis,
Jiggle, JGO. He's like talking to himself, and he's literally like, "Yo, like don't even worry about it, bro. Like, don't even think about it. Like, you don't even." And it's like telling this like kind of meta fourth wall, like telling the audience the same thing. Like, don't worry about it.
Right.
This movie says, dude, fucking worry about it. That's like, and if you
usually it's a mechanic to get a story going, and in this movie that
it is the story. Exactly. And to this day, I don't even know if I fully grasp what happened. I've seen it 2.5 times. I won't give myself 3 because I think the third time I was kind of in and out.
Yeah,
which is the wrong movie to be doing that with.
Yeah,
but even now, and again, I've watched all the YouTube videos and what have you, and I do not have a full grasp on it. But beyond the movie, time travel in general. So the first thing I guess is like, I mean, if it's someone's time traveled, right? If anyone's ever going to time travel, that means it's been done already, right?
Unless we're in the
divergent timeline.
Yes.
Okay, but explain that
to
me.
Or we're in the first where it has not happened yet.
But okay,
and that's where the paradox comes into play, right? Because so basically, like, there has to be an initial time where time travel has not been invented yet.
But that's my point though, because doesn't time travel immediately kind of stir the pot? So they're never like, yet doesn't matter because it's gonna happen, and they're gonna go. Let's say they're most likely going to go at least once or two, because once it exists, people are going to time travel how many fucking times, right? Which means that every point in time is probably going to be visited at least once.
But this only is true if we consider time to be a linear concept, because basically what they say is like this initial timeline. Once time travel has been invented, that point is where the branch off happens.
Right.
So if we go back, so a new branch occurs, right? Mm-hmm. So they go back in time, but they're in a different branch. So no, what you're saying is not necessarily true.
Right. So then what happens is that...
But let's say we're not in the initial timeline, then yes, it's true.
Well, then because otherwise there would be no secondary timeline unless it was affected. So, okay, but so does that mean that in that initial timeline, does that mean that even when it is created, that means that society in history continues on unaffected by that event in that timeline?
By the event that someone traveled back in time
and changed shit. So that creates a new timeline where shit goes differently. But in our world, even though that's the one where the machine and where the action of the travel took place, it's unaffected?
It's an interesting question because
even the physics of
the physics of it,
like there has to be some sort of, you're fucking with time
and
space.
This is why time travel is such a, I think, cool concept, because it involves, it's as much philosophy as it is science, because Einstein said that time travel theoretically is possible to the future, because really all you need to do, as if it's as simple as this, is create something that travels at the speed of light or close to it, move out of our planet, go into space, come back, and then whatever time that took, like, let's say
a different duration than we would have experienced.
And this is what
because gravity bends time.
And this is somewhat what they did in Interstellar, except instead of moving close to the speed of light, they came close to a black hole, which does the same thing. Einstein also explained that if you're close to a black hole, the closer you get and the longer you stay, that time, whatever you age, like whether it's like an hour or a month, time on Earth is exponentially gone by.
It's the idea of relativity, which is, it's funny because, I mean, it's the perfect name for it, because that's exactly what it is. It's just the idea that everything in the universe is relative. Time, like there is no like objective time. There is no objective point in space. Everything is, again, like everything you talk about, like you're on an airplane, right? And you fucking throw something in there and catch it. When you threw it in the air and it landed back on your hand, it landed back on your hand, but did it land in the same place in space? Well, no, because you're moving 600 miles per hour this way, so it's in a completely different... But depending on where you look at it from, whether you're in the airplane or outside the airplane or in space, watching the Earth spin, it's all different.
Remember the first time you heard that the light from the stars that reaches us is like millions and millions of years.
It's like one of the first,
and those stars could
have
been exploded and gone, and no trace of it is left, and you still see them as if they're stars. That to me, when I first heard that, and like when relativity got explained to me for the first time, and I'll explain, because I had to explain it to my girlfriend because she didn't know what it was.
It's like one of those things, isn't it weird? Like you learn it in school, but you don't really.
Time is relative. We all hear it. Like Einstein said time, and it has become like one of those idioms in a way. But I'll explain, like the way it was explained to me is this, because Einstein is one of my heroes, and I'm like a physics nerd just because I've always been. But so Einstein came up with the...
I've always been.
He came up with the term relativity, like time is relative. Not the term, but the concept. So, okay. He was sitting in a bus in wherever in Switzerland.
I think it was in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah. Right.
He was on his way to go pick up some crack off the quarter.
Yeah.
What was it, 76? What is this, 92, right? This is back in 92. Son of Albert Einstein out there slinging that rock.
Yeah, bro.
Everything's
time is relative.
Yo, bro, you know what's
location is relative.
Yeah, so I'm either over here, I'm over there.
So
this corner or that corner.
So it could have been Einstein in Newark in 1976, picking up some crack. Anyway, he was on a bus and he was
looking. You gonna let me on camera just hold this and offer it to you forever?
He was looking at a clock. And he was thinking, if I moved away from this clock at the speed of light, the dial, the pointers on the clock, what do you call them? Fucking
hands
on the clock.
The feet of the clock.
The feet of the clock would stay in the same position because the light can't reach him. Mm-hmm. So by that definition, traveling at the speed of light stops time.
Right. Okay, but here's the thing now. So it would be a measure of how much faster than the speed of light you're moving, because it's again. Relative.
And this is the crazy concept, right? So time slows down the faster you move at the speed of light. But what happens after you've gone faster than the speed of light? When you've hit that threshold, negative time. Because at any point zero, time flips. What is negative time? Moving back in time.
Wow. So here's one of the coolest things about this movie, right? And I think, if I remember correctly, this is a hole in the movie. Maybe it addresses it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But the exact idea that, okay, so in the movie, the character builds basically a box in a storage space. And that's the inciting point of every time he converges the timeline, he restarts this day in this garage or
same
storage
time,
space, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
The problem is that as the time goes on, he goes back to the machine at any point.
Yeah.
The Earth is literally in a different point in space.
Right.
So even though he's traveling back in time from that point in the future, if he were to just travel again from that point to just that exact point, but back in time, he would just be floating in empty space because the Earth hasn't got to that point yet.
Wow.
Because that's the other thing. If you're traveling in time, you also, again, have to take into consideration location and space, which changes in drastic numbers.
That is a hole in the movie. Because, that's a hole in every concept. Every portrayal of time travel in
I'm sure
pretty
there's
much every
something
movie.
that tries to, but basically everything. They don't ever take into account location and space,
right?
And the fact that we are constantly
we live
moving.
in a multi-dimensional.
But not even that,
universe.
dude. Just the Earth, man. Just the Earth. The Earth is never the same. 1 second passes, it's in a different. It's spinning and it's moving around the sun.
Yeah.
It's man.
So
every day that passes, you're a little bit over, and if you were to travel back, you would just be literally just whoop and just die, freeze in space.
Let's say we just take that off the table like most movies do. What do you think would happen if you were to travel? So traveling in the future, theoretically, we know how this happens. But back in time seems to be where like physics starts failing.
Right.
But let's say just for sci-fi reasons, you could. What do you think would happen? Like in the real world, like forget all the physics, blah blah blah. You travel back.
In the real world, but forget all the physics.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I have to be. It all has to do with who's doing it and why they're doing it.
Yeah.
How are we going to come across this? Because it's either going to be what's interesting about this movie also is, okay, so what if it isn't like some government funded scientist?
Yeah.
Right. And especially a movie that came out in 2004, there was a lot going on, like the development of fucking the internet and cyberspace is the concept and shit. Like people becoming more educated.
Yeah.
People like your average man being far more capable than your average man.
Yeah, because information is way more accessible and spreads faster than ever.
And again, if you can learn like how to function, like if you can be a good computer technician, bro, you have an incredible amount of power in today's world. You know what I mean? And it doesn't even you don't even have to be a technician. If you have a good understanding in 2004, you're familiar with and comfortable with technology the way that we all are now.
Yeah,
that's a ridiculous leg up. And there are regular people who, again, aren't even necessarily formally educated, but learn about physics and do experiments and build shit in their garage. Bro, go on Google. There's fucking dickheads who live in their mom's basements building fucking rocket cars in their garage and shit, dog.
Just following the fucking step-by-step instructions on a
crazy,
Google website.
It's crazy. And so is it going to be that? That was in 2004. That's why this movie's cool. It's kind of groundbreaking with that idea that like that could happen. But talking now, like that's very... Like it seems likely to me that would happen. Yeah. There is probably some dickhead who's going to figure it out, and if he does, where is he going to go? What is he going to do?
How long from now do you think that is?
Dude. That's why I opened up with like, if it happened to happen, what if it already fucking happened, bro? And what if, and you wouldn't know, right? Like you would wake up one day and your memories would probably be.
At the same time, it's like nothing in any physics right now, like any type of like new invention or great fucking physics experiment or whatever has ever gotten us closer to the speed of light than how fast we can go now.
Well, that's the thing though with like everything, right? Is that there's always, and I think we've talked about this, but more in like a cultural sense, there's always like a giant leap and it just happens.
Yeah.
Like you just discover shit. That's why things like AI and like the singularity happen are so scary, because it's like you're never going to know.
But
it's
also
just
from
happen.
the point that we made like our first weapons, which were like just like rocks and sticks and shit. To now. It's like, how long was that?
Well, rocks and sticks is like
a couple thousand years.
No, more than that, like 10,000 years ago.
Okay. Maybe more than that.
Just
imagine what we could be in 10,000 years, bro.
Well, yeah,
time travel has to be invented.
I think we've only been around for like 50 or 100,000 years. It's like modern man.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in there. I'm not sure.
Right.
But
let me look up when the first tools were ever invented. Like
if we can come this far, bro, just having a brain in 100,000 years or 50,000 years, if we were just around as a species for another 10 or 20,
right?
Didn't they say the human brain doubled or whatever?
Wow, it says 2.6 million years ago. This is from humanorigins.si.edu. The earliest stone tool making developed by at least 2.6 million years ago.
But was it like a Homo sapien, or was it some sort of pre-human?
Made by early humans, it says.
But an early human doesn't mean Homo sapien.
Homo sapien. Yeah. But tools were...
Because we're like Homo sapien.
But if they invented tools, then tools must have been passed on to Homo sapiens too.
Right. But that is crazy, 2 million years.
2.6 million. But just even that.
But here's the thing, it's not even about that. Because that for a lot of that time, we were just like fucking around with our dick in our hands. Exactly. And then the last like 200 years have been fucking unprecedented, bro. Fucking bananas.
But the last 40 years have been...
Or last 10 years, bro. What the fuck?
All of it. So...
But that's the thing. Is that Moore's Law? I'm fucking my shits up. The exponential growth. Yeah. Like it's...
Moore's Law is about the chip size and all that stuff.
It's going faster and faster and faster and faster. So, bro, honestly, how long? If I had to bet my money on it, like 20 years. But if I wouldn't put my money on that because it could happen tomorrow, bro. Years. It feels like you don't think that they're going to figure out. First of all, I feel like
what if someone got close and felt like, okay, I'm going to try it out and just create.
They'd probably go back to yesterday, right? But your first thing you do is you don't stress. You just go back to yesterday.
But do you think
or
that
10
on
minutes
the
ago,
first
10
trial run, a time machine would work?
No.
Because I feel like it's so dangerous and so close to you fucking up everything.
But bro, that's the thing in the even in the movie, it's an accident.
Black hole and shit. Like,
well, yeah, but we don't even know what the fuck. We don't really know what's going on with black holes.
I feel like it would mess up with everything.
Isn't it crazy how much we just don't know shit about shit? Like, we don't know fucking anything, bro. Like, we know so much, but we don't know anything,
here's a question, bro. The universe is so large, and you believe that at some place in the universe there's another species of some kind, right? That might be more intelligent than we are.
Yeah.
Intelligence. And...
There might be something like that in the ocean.
They might have already tampered with time.
Exactly. Bro. We're only talking about fucking us. Bro, if you go to school, right, and if you believe what your teachers tell you, right, and you believe what the smartest scientists on the fucking planet tell you, then you believe that there is an infinite universe. Infinite. You know what infinite means? Infinite means everything for always and ever, as much an infinite amount of this exact infinity, bro. There's not just an infinity amount of you, bro. Like infinity amount of you doing the same exact thing with no change. Not even everyone always like there's a version you did this, one choice different, this different, you did this. No, there's a infinity version of you that haven't done shit different. And everything around you is the exact fucking same. Yep. And that's so there's an infinity of ones where that apple became a motherfucking gorilla and fucked my fucking mouth to death and then took your fucking arm off like Chewbacca from the old Star Wars movies, and then fucked you with your arm stump. Like that happened infinity times. So there's no reason for me to be like, okay, so there's at least something else out there that is smart enough to fucking build a goddamn house. You know what I mean?
So let's say
build a goddamn building.
Let's say a computer. So on one of these, in one of these universes,
if dolphins had thumbs, they'd be fucking shit up, bro. Come on now.
Maybe they would invent a time travel machine faster than us.
Straight up, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like deep as hell.
Word.
We can't even comprehend that shit, bro.
No.
E equals MC squared. More like exactly. Equals MC suck this dick. That's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there's definitely another species, and there's So that just
okay. So my question
might as well be a simulation too, right? Everything. Bananas.
So there's another place where somebody or something has invented a time travel machine.
Right.
They traveled, doesn't matter, future or back in time.
Wait.
How long with time, like with the speed of light kept into like the algorithm, how long do you think it would take for if he traveled back in time and he's like 20 million light years away for us to even feel that effect of it?
Right. So that's actually what I was about to go with it, right? Because space time is literally just a giant field and like a plane. And you know what I mean? And there's gravitational waves that affect
as much as time is relative, time happens at the same time at the same place. Time happens.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Time happens in the same rate everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Well. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, no.
One second here.
No. Well, not true.
Unless you're moving, right?
Or if there's more gravity, bro. Gravity like distorts that shit.
Affects time?
Yeah. Depending on like how much gravity the point in space time you're at has.
Wait.
Because a field, bro,
like deep space has no gravity.
Right. And
so would you say that time doesn't happen there?
Well, I don't know how it probably wouldn't be like 0 = 0. But there's probably an effect on no gravity. That time is just moving slower or something like that. But again, it's all relative.
But like we still
experience
we
it as
age
the same
at the same rate no matter where we are. Like if we travel back in time, our physical being is not going to travel back.
But don't astronauts like go into fucking space and then come back and they're like younger?
No.
Than we are?
Yes, but it's only by like the tiniest fraction.
Of course. But that's still
but that's because we moved faster than they did. It's not that their physical being their physical being changed at a faster rate.
No, I know, but they were affected by the field they were in.
That's the relativity point, right?
Exactly. That's all I'm trying to say.
But if we were all with them, we would all still be the same.
All together. All right. So
that I'm talking about an individual being.
But in the
you age the same amount at the same rate on Earth as you do on the moon, is what I'm saying. But if you...
From your perspective, because it's relative.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I guess I get what you're trying to say. Okay, but so then what? Then what, Starsky? What's the point?
I don't know.
Exactly. Here's what I'm trying to say. If you're... Picture it like this. That's the point where the effect happens, right? And we're all the way over here. Now picture this as like a lake.
Okay.
And for the listeners at home, just picture again like a lake, a river. And you know what happens when you drop like a little stone in that little body of water? It ripples out, right? But guess what? The closer you are to the point of impact, the sooner you are affected by that ripple.
Yeah.
Also, the farther away you get from that point, the less strong that ripple is till it eventually just dies the fuck out. That principle also applies to when you drop matter in space. Mm-hmm. When you put matter into an empty point in space-time, it affects the gravitational fields of it, which by in turn affects the time of it and everything like that. Like but again, in the same way as water, like it eventually dies out. It's not like an infinite reach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think by that fucking logic, it's totally possible that if they are far enough away and some shit would travel through time, that we would potentially never fucking be affected by it. And like they're fucking around with their timeline and their point, like in their giant fucking ocean of space-time, and we're all the way over here in our ocean, and we're part of the same thing. But dude, this thing is fucking huge.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We don't know how big the universe is. Is it big enough that's possible? Huh? I actually never thought of that too.
I never thought of that too. It's just crazy.
What would you do?
What
if it was you? and you could go back in time. Man.
Back in time.
And there's no effects. No. As far as you know, I'll put it that way. Maybe there is, but as far as you know, there's no problems.
Well, am I going back in time with an objective, or am I just?
Are you? Why? I'm giving you a time machine, bro. What are you gonna do with it? No strings attached.
How many times can I go back and forth? Do I have a limit, or can I just keep going back?
You can keep going back and forth. Just for this, there's no limits, bro. And every time you go, you create a new timeline, and it's completely separate.
Has it been used before? Is it proven to work?
Yeah, bro, for 100%.
Okay,
you're good. You're safe.
So anybody can do it.
Anybody, but it's for you, bro. I made it for you. You're welcome. I've been making it, Starsky.
I don't know.
It looks like a race car.
I'm not so pussy that I wouldn't try it, because I would totally try it.
What a weird perspective.
Because
here's a time. I'm not pussy. I'll travel in time. You calling me pussy?
No. I'm saying, yeah, exactly.
Nah, watch this, bro. Watch this, bro.
Watch me. Okay, so I'd first try out if it actually works.
All right, what does that mean? You go back like a second, 10 minutes?
Oh, bro, question.
Okay.
If I go back in time, like, will there be a second version of me in the same timeline as the first
like
version
in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? And then you go fuck around and talk to yourself.
Or is it like one of the time travel ones where
Coalition
you disappear
of
and you just appear in a different time?
Nah, there's other versions of you, bro. You gotta stay away from
me. Two of me on this planet.
Like if you go back to 19,
I'm already hard to resist, bro. I'm gonna take over this planet.
If there's enough of me, that's like the most effective army ever.
First of all, I would take a real good look at myself, because I can. You've never seen yourself,
but
you've never looked yourself in the
I
3 seconds.
So 3
to
seconds.
Try it out first.
That's how you're gonna prove it works, because there's another version of you. I see your logic. Okay, so fuck. So my first thing would be to avoid that. I think I don't want to like. I'm okay with seeing myself,
but then there's
which he does in the movie also, like fucking watch himself from like over a bush while he's like in a.
I would just take it, because I would be in the same place where the time machine is, and my initial version of myself would be there too,
right? And
that initial version has been explained by you, that you've created a time machine and that I can go back. So I already have the knowledge. My initial self already has the knowledge that time travel is possible, and that I'm gonna go into this time machine and go back 1 minute. So if I appear out of nowhere, I'm already.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I was just about to ask you. All right, sorry, unrelated question. We're just going through the gauntlet. They're popping up now. All right. So let's say for some reason, that's not how it goes. There's a limit. You can't go back 3 minutes. You got to go back more than that, like a day, right?
Yeah.
And let's say because of the Earth moving, you actually don't end up in the same space. So you end up somewhere in Brooklyn. So now, but you're not next to you. So now here's what. Yeah.
But you know how fucking fast the Earth moves in a day, bro. I wouldn't be in Brooklyn. Somewhere in Brooklyn. I'd be so far. I don't think I would even
be like in the middle of the fucking Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
On the moon. Bro, imagine. All right, but whatever. So
if we calibrate a time machine, could we use a time machine as like a interdimensional portal?
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Because again, you're just fucking with space time, right? Yeah. So couldn't you just fuck with it in a different way?
Why don't we call it a space time travel machine?
See, that's a movie we have to make that actually addresses this. Yeah. That the characters have to be like, okay, also remember that there is a space and the Earth is moving.
Like it's like Looper not Looper, Jumper and Primer combined, bro.
Jumper, bro. What a callback. You're going back into the vault. Jumper with Hayden Christensen.
No, that's post Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think Hayden Christensen was acting pre Anakin Skywalker. At least not in Jumper, not in like blockbuster Hollywood movies, bro. But what do you think? Okay, so let's say right now, boom, fuck, there's another you right now in this room right now, and he's like, "Yo, Starsky."
Yeah. Would you say fuck or?
I would definitely say fuck. If he just appeared like Nightcrawler, like Bamf, and was just here, and he was like, "Hi, I'm you from tomorrow,"
like now without my knowledge of like.
Yeah, you didn't even know you were gonna do it.
Or this is me from skeptical about time machines.
Exactly. So what would you say? What's your first thought?
Then
this is a lie.
I would believe it.
You'd believe it out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's all right? So if it's possible for another you to just appear out of thin air in reality, to materialize, anything is possible. Maybe he's a lying demon. He took the form of you, some sort of interdimensional deity.
Nah, I don't believe in demons.
But if time, not demons, but listen, bro, if you believe in time travel in multiple dimensions, there could be something, and some shit's fucking with you. Or reality just got fucked up. It's a glitch in the Matrix. You're gonna go with this thing that just looks like you.
It's a simulation glitch.
It could be fucking anything.
You know, one of the bigger.
I just did some crazy head movement just now, bro. That was only the viewers got a good look at that.
Bobbleheady.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
You know,
control.
So one of the reasons why people think that we live in a simulation is because of people trying to simulate what time travel does.
You're gonna have to phrase that in a better way.
Okay. If we want to know we've come up with a good theory, and we're gonna try to make it a real thing, a time machine. Okay.
Okay.
What do we do first? Are we just gonna build it and then?
No, right.
We would make a simulate it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So what if
why would that be like a simulation thing?
Because let's say time travel only gets invented after the invention of creating like realistic simulations, then we would obviously play out the simulation first.
Okay. So, but why?
Because we don't want to put the real world in jeopardy.
But why would it have to be a realistic simulation? Is my question. Why couldn't it just be? I mean, if you're gonna simulate, you could just put in numbers into the right system with the right equation in it and figure out if it works. Because if we're really getting to that level where we understand, because that means we're not doing what they did in the movie. Because in the movie they're like trying to make money off some bullshit, making like batteries or some shit in their basement for like, they just happen to be again like basement physicists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they accidentally create this thing, and he notices, oh shit, he does measurements of the field around the device, and he's like, yo, time is shifting around this. Yeah. So if we're not going that route, and we're going where it's calculated, and we like are understanding the physics of it, and understanding the numbers, then we would have a computer we could just plug numbers into.
Yeah.
We wouldn't need a realistic simulation.
Yeah, but like in the Matrix, like when they look at the Matrix, it's all numbers to them. But for them, when you're in the Matrix, it feels like a simulation.
I guess. That's wow.
I guess real sci-fi.
Yeah, that makes sense though. I never even like really thought about that.
I took some notes, but I feel like we already basically all covered all the concept, the time travel like theories and shit. There's one cool theory that I found. It's called the Tipler cylinder. Okay. And this basically talks about we got to do this quickly. But it basically talks about there's a fucking, if you find a dense enough object or cylinder, I'm going off of like backup brain storage right now, then if this object was dense enough and could spin fast enough, it could actually create some kind of like weird wormhole that allows you to go back in time. So,
well, what object would they say? Like if there was a body, like a planetary body?
So this is how it was explained. Think of like when you're moving in like when you turn around in a 360 degrees, you end up in the same direction, in the same spot. Right? On the floor. But let's say you're on a spiral staircase and you go 360 degrees, you're actually in a different point, right?
Okay.
So...
shit, like a screw.
Yeah. So it's like...
You're screwing into the matter of time itself and like... that's a very cool fucking visual.
Time.
Fucking time, bro. Yeah. Fuck time.
Fuck time.
Fuck time.
Is it?
I think that's a good way to end it, man. Fuck time. All right, well... If you don't forget, if you liked it, you need to like it and share it. Yeah. And follow it.
And if you haven't watched Primer, that shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah, but fuck that. Fuck us. You should follow us and like us and watch us. We're pretty good too. And we'll travel through time probably. If someone's gonna figure it out by accident.
In 20 years, right?
20 years. I put you heard it here first. You could mark it.
Yes.
We have video evidence of it.
Yeah. We've predicted it. This is an official prediction.
I'm putting my fucking name on this. My reputation. 2020. 2040.
Where can we find you?
You can follow me at No NASA NYC on Instagram and basically anywhere on Spotify and everything. I am No NASA, just No NASA. Yes, and I'm
at Daytona Starsky, also everywhere. Check out our music and
check out our
podcasts
and just stuff in general. Our YouTube channels will probably have some pretty good content coming up soon, as well as just the Shuttle channel.
Let us know if you liked it, and remember,
if you didn't like it, suck our dick.
Yeah. Fuck time.
Ooh, hey, fuck time.
Optimus Prime.
Fuck time. Ooh, Optimus Prime.
One line, linear line,
timeline. See mine.
Hit me on the hotline.
Ooh, hotline.
Bling
DM.
bling.
Bitches
Bling,
on my dick like. Ooh, I'ma time travel. Ooh, I'ma hit gravel. Ooh, I'ma go dabble. Ooh, got me some money. Ooh, got me some honeys. Ooh, got me a time machine. Ooh, got me a time machine. Bitch, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Fuck time.
Yes.
Fuck time. Primer, a rhymer, Slimer from Ghostbusters. That bitch is dope buster. I don't know.
Do you think that in 5 years everybody has access to rockets?
Rockets? Yeah. Like what's a rocket? Like a spaceship?
Like a spaceship.
In 5 years? No.